Hi, everybody. Mr. Games, Joy Flex here with LOG from the Warrior Smoke Podcast. We're going to talk about Boosie, VLAD, and maybe some 6ix9ine or some other famous internet celebrities. The main topic of this video is that Boosie's turning down 25K every 4 or 5 times a year from DJ VLAD, and he's in the free market right now. And other podcasts are starting to reach out to him, but they can't even pay them anything close to what DJ VLAD was paying him. So he's kind of done with interview slash podcasts unless they're like his own. And I think it's a huge fumble because right now I would pay $5 for a video to watch Boozy talk about like the whole Pooh Shiesty case, and then 6ix9ine's been talking a lot about him. I'd Dude, he'd get so many views on DJ VLAD right now if he just kept it cool, accepted another 25 grand. He probably would have gotten that raise from him. Let's say with all the stuff, like if this never happened, like he for sure would have gotten a raise from DJ VLAD if he just kept it cool and just kept accepting the easy money. And what do you think, Logan?
Yeah, I think, and imagine if you have 6ix9ine having the interview on Vlad where he's like talking shit about Boosie a little bit, and then you have Boosie's able to come back and talk about, like you're saying, the Pooh Shiesty thing and fire back at 6ix9ine, and you have these big titles of Boosie, because I feel like Boosie still has a good opinion and still has the clout and stuff, but over the past few years I feel like there has been stuff. I think he spoke on the young thug stuff, but it didn't really hit quite as heavy for whatever reason. But I feel like we needed situations that were more closer to home for Boosie or whatever, that were big stories for him to talk about, and kind of really, I feel like that would have, the views would have jumped again, and really, like, to your point, like it would have. There's big things going on that maybe some of that's on Vlad. Vlad wasn't asking Boosie the right questions the last year or two, where he needs to ask him more inflammatory or like big time questions that are going to get a bigger response. Maybe some of that's Boosie kind of getting tired of the Vlad thing and not giving his old answers. But I really think some of it's the topics and him not having good enough or big enough topics to get him real riled up and get that Boosie response that we all want to see. But yeah, I think to your point, to see him talk on some of these topics that are bigger now might get his bigger responses, and to see him go back at 6ix9ine on Vlad would be huge. But anyway, yeah.
Because
Anything
like
else?
Drake just dropped an album,
Yeah.
fucking, he's been dissing all these people, and like Boosie's a perfect person like to talk about. Like he's been in the rap game for so long.
Yeah.
But like it even like upsets me a little bit because I have actually listened to Boosie's music, and he like I'm listening to his old songs. And it's like, bro, if you're really about all this money and all this pussy, or females, like you'd be on this shit and you'd be accepting 100 grand. He's like, oh, I get 100 grand on a weekend at a show, and it's like, yeah, but who turns down another easy 100 grand
I think he let the
for
ego.
what?
That's why 6ix9ine was so mad, because no other reason makes sense except for he let the thing go to his head about the 6ix9ine thing. I think if I don't know what if he
Like you
hurt.
just like you're not the biggest rapper anymore.
Well, let
It's
me just say
okay,
this real
dude.
quick. I don't know if Boosie was told this and heard this and chose to ignore it, or if he never. I'm sure he had to hear this. 6ix9ine got the 50,000 for his first interview because he was back hot again, but he wasn't gonna get that every time. His fee has gone down and down and down, and this last interview he did for free, and I don't think he's gonna do every interview for free. But they kind of had they gave the 50,000, and then he got a medium amount, and then he did a free one, and then it's probably gonna level out somewhere in the middle. But Boosie just heard the 50,000. He's like, that struck a chord with him. But it's like, overall, if you average it out, he's not making as much as you. So you should have just chilled. But I think everyone's really said that. I don't, we'll see. I think
Yeah,
everyone's just waiting to see if
very
he's ever gonna
interesting.
come back to Vlad. But anyway, I don't know. It's interesting. It's probably one of those things where it was what it was. They had a good run, and now it's time for something new. That's how life usually goes.
What's up, y'all? It's DJ Vlad, and recently Sean Cotton of Say Cheese and Boosie have been going back and forth online, and it was about Boosie doing interviews with me, so I figured I would chime in. Now, Sean Cotton made a video, and we'll play a clip of it, where he basically said that Boosie had messed up by no longer doing Vlad TV interviews.
I ain't trying to tell Boosie what he should and shouldn't have did, but he's gonna miss out on hundreds of thousands. Vlad's gonna make hundreds of thousands. Over $10,000, over $5,000 difference. Disagreement.
So Boosie actually responded to Sean and said that he's making tons and tons of money off doing shows, and that Sean is actually mad at him because Sean offered him $15,000 to do an interview, and Boosie turned it down.
Sean Cotton, actually you're wrong, bro. I'm not gonna take no losses not fucking with Vlad, bro. You're wrong, bro.
He just lost 100,000. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He just lost 100,000 a year.
Yeah, he's tripping.
It's like, what?
And it keeps him introduced to new fans and stuff. He's tripping.
Wrong, bro. That 20,
Yeah.
25,000, 5-6 times a year. Bro, I make that in a weekend, bro. I made that 6 weekends in a row, bro.
All right, so what? You make it
be successful, bro.
6 weekends in a row. Like, why not just keep making it? Like, if I were to ask my little brother, he's like 16, 15, 14, somewhere there. If I were to ask him, do you know who Boosie is? He'd be like, who?
Yeah.
And then he'd make fun of me for listening to him and call me Unc, probably. Like, I didn't know about Boosie till I found out about him from you. And then I actually started, somewhat listening to music and liking his music. And then I really got to know Boosie through Vlad. And then I started appreciating Boosie through Vlad.
Yeah.
So, like, that's a prime example of, like, you fumbling.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Like, I expect you to take his side because, nigga, you a podcaster. But I think the real reason is you reached out to me last week trying to get an interview. And I told you no, bro. Like, you got to take that on the chin, bro. Like, don't go on the thing billing shit about me and how you feel about me. I mean, nigga, if you wanted an interview, you could pay for an interview, nigga.
I mean, shit. I mean, 15,000? 15, like, shit, for an hour of work? Like, I don't think Boosie understands that. Dude, dude probably made fucking $7 an hour when he was very young. Or maybe he never worked a real job in his life, but $15K for an hour of work? $15K is what most average Americans make a year. Even working,
I mean, that's pretty low. But what I would say is, Vlad's pointed it out, but like they're underestimating the value in like the interviewer, even besides like the camera, the setup of like paying for the camera and the place to be and all that, and like doing the research and finding the questions. Them actually in the interview, like they do this all the time for a living, so it's different than someone that doesn't do it. And that's what they were saying about Boosie's interview that he put out. The person asking him the questions wasn't as good as Vlad because they didn't push back, they didn't ask certain questions that maybe they were afraid to ask and all that. And so it's like there's something missing from the product when you're not going one of these major things, you know?
I just think it's fumbling, bro. Like,
yeah.
It's only an hour of work. He can't afford you to. He was saying whatever that guy is that offered him the podcast, he can't afford to do 3 hours with him. So the most he's gonna try to do is like an hour, maybe a little more.
Yeah.
But still, like 15K is a considerable amount of money. You can do a lot with 15,000. So I don't know. It's just.
Especially if Boosie's already in Dallas for the weekend doing other shows. It's not like he's missing other money. He could be in Dallas for the weekend doing shows and making money anyway, and then just hit that guy up for an hour or so, blah, 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 make that money and keep on moving. Like, yeah, it's a L.
People that really grind accept $50 profit every job, you know?
Yeah.
They'll accept whatever profit they can get.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, and he could have killed like 3, 4, or 5 birds in one stone.
And keeping that connection for networking too. He's so big that he thinks I don't need to network and keep the connections. It's like, but with new people coming up, new talent, you're not as hot as you used to be. Those connections and stuff matter. You know what I mean? I mean, they always do, but now more than before.
A lot of people are mad at him and upset at him with like this shit. It's like, dude, you're tripping, dog. Like so much content we could have gotten out of Boosie right now with the whole like Drake album, the Pooch Ice-T 6ix9ine. all this bullshit that's going on right now. The Ben 10, I don't know if you heard of that guy. He could have talked about that whole situation. Like,
Yeah.
there's like so many topics they could have hit and just keep him relevant. But right now, like the only thing keeping him is everyone's just bashing him for being so greedy.
Yeah. Just might be the end of a run, you know?
Yeah, like I said, like you're at the top for so long, you know, shit happens.
Nothing lasts forever.
So let's start with the 15,000. Now, Boosie said that he knows how much he's worth and he refuses to do interviews for 15,000. In fact, if you remember, I was paying him 25,000 and he wanted 40,000. But he would go as low as 35,000, which I turned down, which caused the split between me and Boosie. So at this point, Boosie's being offered 15,000. So let's talk about the whole worth thing. Now, people love to say that nobody could tell them how much they're worth.
I don't care what you say about Vlad. Those are some fucking fly-ass glasses.
In business, that's not really the reality. The reality is you don't determine your own worth. The market does. Now, I was paying Boosie $25,000 per interview. He felt it was too low. So he went into the market. And what happened when he went into the market? He went with other outlets like Say Cheese, and Say Cheese offered him $15,000.
I offered Boosie 15,000 yesterday. He turned it down, and I think a lot of that is because of ego and pride. He recently said that, you know, I don't need podcasters. Podcasters need me, and I feel like he got to live on that.
So this basically proves my point. When Boosie went into the market, he saw that the rate that he was asking for was too high. So the thing is that this is not like doing shows. Boosie can get an offer from, let's say, Alabama, and they offer him 10,000. He says, well, that's too low. I want more money.
It's just not the same. Someone that's also like Sean Cotton and Vlad, and even, you know, someone like me who would be having a podcast about a certain topic. These topics that, like, for me, it might not be hip hop. It might be like my philosophy thing, or like talking about, you know, social issues. But for them, it's hip hop. They care about that stuff so much. They've watched it their whole life. They've known who Boosie was their whole life. They've known who other rappers in the South and they've been in hip hop their whole life. This other person that's stepping in to ask Boosie a question, I don't know if they take it as seriously as they've been watching it their whole life and they made their career around it. It's just like so much wisdom and so much like someone who cares enough to do that is just a different thing. But,
bro, Vlad's known this dude since the beginning of his career too, like personally. Yeah. And like he's probably given him like 400,000 total. So it's just like crazy to me that you like wouldn't work with your homie again over like 5,000. But like the numbers spoke for himself and he just couldn't do it. Like you weren't bringing in what you needed to get that. Yeah. And let's say you grind a little harder, be a little more controversial, do some of the stuff that, you know, Brad and Toji do to get a few extra 1,000 clips, views, you know, like, and he's like so like monotone and so like nonchalant whenever he does interviews too. It's like, you know, he could do a little better too.
Yeah, I just think it ran its course maybe. You know, everything has its time. It'll be interesting to see who the new regulars are, if he has anyone else elevate like new or come up into that position, or if he just kind of sticks. I know he's going to stick it out with the people he has. Talking about Vlad, but there might be, you know, I'm interested to see what new people he gets and stuff like that. So maybe he'll surprise us with somebody new.
All right. Well, that's Mr. Joe Games, Joy Flex. Thanks for having me, Logan. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up. Peace. Hey, guys, let us know in the comments, too, like who's right, who's wrong, if y'all agree, if y'all disagree, all that good stuff. Subscribe. Be on the lookout. More smaller content like this. Maybe longer. We'll see. Vibing it out.
Yeah. Y'all let us know what y'all think of these shorter videos. And let us know what other topics y'all want us to cover. I think we're at a time now where it's interesting. Like the YouTube game and the internet content has been around for a while. Streaming was somewhat kind of new, somewhat of a new spin on it. But I'm just interested to see what's going to be the next I feel a shift coming somewhat in entertainment and in technology, and I'm just wondering what the next big thing is going to be, because we haven't had a huge shift, but I feel one coming. So that's kind of a whole other thing, but I will, maybe that'll be a new topic. But yeah, let us know what y'all think of these shorter videos. Suggest some topics, and for sure let us know y'all's opinion on what we're covering, and we'll see y'all soon. Thanks to Mr. Joe Games. We'll see y'all. We out.
Peace.